She is a seasoned electrical engineer and currently serves as the Deputy Registrar and Senior Vocational and Technical Trainer at the Sigalagala National Polytechnic. She is the current President of Women in Technical Education and Development, that is WITED, in Kenya and Africa. Her mission is to drive the participation and retention of girls in STEM programs across TVET institutions in Africa, aligning with the Sustainable Development Goals, that is the SDG 4, which talks about education, SDG 5, and SDG 8. She collaborates with stakeholders to implement impactful strategies that promote gender equality, quality education, and sustainable economic growth. She has a bachelor's in electrical and communications engineering, that is the power option, from Masinde Muliro University. And what I like about her, she draws inspiration from her own personal experiences. She has faced many challenges as a young female graduate of engineering 12 years ago. And she is convinced that indeed we are going to make a difference in the TVET sector, that is the women. A round, warm of applause to Engineer Dorcas Keseli. A warm round of applause to Engineer Dorcas Keseli. Welcome, Dorcas.
Karibu sana.
Welcome. Ladies, are you ready for the panel? Today is going to be very interactional. We are going to just interact. We're not going to have question answer. No. Today we want to just soak in and get inspiration from these amazing women. So, if we may start, what that one unique thing about you? Just one. We can start with you.
I am a go-getter. I don't tire except I get results.
Wow, we are sorry. Amazing. Just keep it off, okay? To start us off, what inspired your journey into the space that you have taken? I don't want to peg you in terms of just tech, but what inspired your journey and what fuels your mission for women in this space?
Okay, if I start with, that was back like 23 years ago. What inspired me was that early in the village, we used to attend graduation ceremonies for people within the village. We would see graduation, or we would take graduation as something very unique, and all of us within the village we used to go. So there's this one lady who had done electrical engineering, and I attended her graduation party, and that was the first picture. That's the first graduation that I had attended. Maybe I used to attend others nikiwa mdogo, but I couldn't realize what they are. But that graduation that I attended for that lady, she's a woman, it really inspired me. And I saw that ladies can do electrical engineering within our village. That is from where I come from. It's not within Nairobi. It's far or Ushago kabisa. So you could hear it's something very unique. That time electrical engineering looked like something very unique for a lady doing it. So it inspired me. And I said, and I told myself, when I grow up, I would like to be like her. And I chose electrical engineering, and I've been in that field up to now. Even now, I'm an electrical engineer. Yes.
Amazing, that's quite inspiring. And that lady indeed has impacted you in various ways, and you can see that you're already impacting others. And just to come to you, Dorcas, engineer, you've said you're a go-getter. Wow, I love that. I love that you know what you want. What belief or mindset did you have to shift in order to thrive in your career?
Persistence. You know, as a child, we used to have this big radio cassette.
those of us who come from the village, you know that when your father came with that cassette, it would be put somewhere in the compound so that all the neighbors would hear the music. So I wanted to find out how comes as a child I couldn't enter the radio cassette. But then we have people singing and speaking inside that gadget. So one day I spoiled my father's radio cassette because I wanted to open it to see how people were fitting it, only to find that there was nobody physically in it. So that created my curiosity. I wanted to know and do something that can help me know how human beings can be put inside such a small thing. So that made me start looking for something, a course, that can lead me to that. Now, when I grew up after class 8, I was good in mathematics, I was good in sciences, so I went to high school. I wasn't good in English. I remember one day, my English teacher asked me a question, to give a name of the group of flowers. And from my primary school, I was so courageous and I said, banquet of flowers. And she shouted, according to the linguistics, it is not banquet of flowers, it is bouquet of flowers. So she really put me off. But I wouldn't just sit down because I didn't understand that she was saying that I didn't pronounce it correctly. So to me, I've done the best. She's telling me sit down, and I'm standing in a class of 45 girls, laughing because I believe I have said the best. You know the way you come from the village, you use those groups of words, and you feel so proud that you've picked the best. So the whole class started laughing because in my class I was the only one who came from the village. The rest came from private public primary schools like Book Academy, name them, boarding primary. So I didn't know much of the English. So they were laughing, telling me, teacher anasema ukae chini because haujasema poa. And me, I'm like, no, it is banquet of flowers. So after that, in Form 2, we were to select subjects. I loved sciences, so I picked physics, I picked chemistry. Biology was mandatory, so I had to pick it. But I dropped all the theory units. But then while we were doing the physics, then I asked my physics teacher, how comes people speak through radio cassettes and I am not able to fit in whenever I try? So now he's the Mr. Njuka. He's the one who told me it is not people physically fitting into radio cassettes. No, they are courses that help people simulate their sounds through machines so that we can hear them while they are seated in another room somewhere. Then I asked, what course is that? Then I was led to electrical engineering, which is a very wide course. But then along the line, I noticed that I'm not so good with the extra low voltages, which covers the telecommunication systems, the electronic systems. So I opted for power option. Now my curiosity ceased from the radio bit, but then I ventured into the heavy machines. That's the power options. Because I became so enthusiastic about the power options. So that's how I became an electrical engineer. However, my father wanted me to be a nurse. And we really argued. And he could say, my daughter must be a nurse. Then I asked myself, ni nani ako shule? Wewe ama mimi? Ni nani atafanya mtihani? Wewe ama mimi? So I got a C plane in biology. I never wrote biology notes. I never did anything in biology class. I could sit because I don't have anywhere else to go. Not writing notes, not doing anything. Just to ensure that my certificate doesn't have a D plane. So I got a C. It was my lowest grade, biology. And everybody in our family was looking for a way to make me do degree in nursing. And you know, now with a C plane in biology, you are disqualified. Now, surprisingly, I don't know if it is God or it is the devil. My father died while I was in Form 4, second term. Now, to me, it didn't look bad. To me, at that point, I looked at it as a stumbling block I've just gotten away from my path to become an electrical engineer. So nobody will force me to become a nurse. As much as it might look like weird, I was this cheeky comic girl. And I would make comedy about my father's death. And I would say, at least I don't have to fight with anybody to become a nurse. I'll just do what I want. And here we are. I am a registered electrical engineer. I am a consultant, I am a contractor. I am accredited electrical supervisor by National Construction Authority. And I can't tell you that I got here by just getting here. I have met obstacles in my way. But then I am a go-getter. I don't sit down. except I get the result I want. That is what has brought me here. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Indeed, persistence and curiosity, you combine them two and then your world changes instantly. Just speaking of being the challenges that women face, and you, yes, you've attended the graduation and that lady has inspired you. Let me take you back to the classroom now. What are the top 2 pain points women face during practical trainings, be it in the labs or the workshops or even in attachment?
Now, you realize that still in our colleges, the kind of machines and equipment that we use are still traditionally designed. So far so good, I haven't seen a workshop that has a machine that can accommodate a pregnant woman. I haven't seen a workshop that has a machine that can accommodate a woman who has a baby on her back. The machines are still the BS 19-something machines. And if we were able to just change this notion so that we come up with machines that are friendly to the ladies, I believe they will be able to have better workshop experiences. Look even into our factories. Is there any employer who is willing to sacrifice even just one section and say, I had these machines, but because I have employed female employees in my tech section, I am willing to sacrifice to buy another set. Because currently in the market we have modern machines. But then the question is, who is willing to change and buy a new set of machines just because they employed a woman? Nobody. Who is willing to change and buy a new set of equipment in their college, in their workshops, just because for the first time in the automotive engineering class, they have received 2 girls. We still have girls lying under a car. Nobody's willing to take that sacrifice and change something on their budget and just get that new thing that can accommodate someone. I will use my own experience. For example, when I finished my undergraduate program, by the way, I was a student who wasn't looking for first class. Let me make this disclaimer. My mission was to get my family out of poverty. So I used to attend classes 3 days in a week as I work the remaining days in a week. I was lucky to get an employment with an NGO in Kakamega, which was paying me 2,000 shillings per day. So I would work the remaining days of the week, attend classes 3 days in a week. How did I do that? I could talk to my friends in class. I buy them lunch every day as they write for me notes. And then they will alert me whenever there is a cut. Now it is the class that decides when a cut should be. So we had one principle. No cut should be put on Monday, no cut should be put on Tuesday, because broadcast will not be available. Now, the teachers never knew that. But it was a quiet local arrangement. So teacher akisema, we will have a cut on Monday. There is a base somewhere of 15 men saying no. They're not saying no because they don't want. Wanakumbuka mama yao anafaa kuangalia lunch na hawezi manage down. So the ladies in the room, you must be friends with your male classmates. You can't isolate yourself and say, I want to be a different woman. No. You will be different by associating with the male classmates. That's how I worked it out. Paka nika graduate, I got a second class honors, lower division. Now that should tell you that if I attended all my lessons, I would have gotten a first class. Now, to the industry, my first ever employment, I go to Kandi, Kenya. They do sweets. The HR is so passionate that for the first time she has gotten a female engineer. But now the supervisor in the engineering section is a man who never went to school, can't accommodate a female engineer. Do you know what he did to me? He took me to another section to start counting sweets. But the HR absorbed me as an engineering intern. In fact, she attached me to the technician. But what did the technician do? He said, no, wanawake hawezi fanya hii. So he sends me somewhere else. My work became to count sweets, count what, you know, those just counting things. But then one day, someone comes to the company, an outsourced technician for a specialized maintenance service. Then he wonders, what is this lady doing? And the HR told me that there is a lady attached to the electrical technician. So he calls me, then inquires, then I tell him that it's because the technician is not able to accommodate me, so he reassigned me the duties. That was my changing point. The guy told me that, are you willing to be attached to my team? Nikienda side hustle za mtaa Nairobi, you accompany me. I don't have money to pay you, but I can teach you the skills za mtaa. There is the class smartness, then there is the street smartness. I had the class smartness. I didn't have the street smartness. So I had to accompany this guy voluntarily. No pay, no lunch, no food. Just to get now the street skill. And that was my first time ever to execute any task related to my training. And from there, I climbed upwards because Dorcas doesn't just give up. Now, my first ever professional interview was to become a site electrical engineer, to supervise over 1,000 electricians. 970 electricians were men. 10 were men foremen. 10 were men supervisors. Now, remaining 10, 5 were men to handle the cell. We used to have cell groups. Now, the 5 were the ladies. And the manager of the company asked me one thing. What are you going to do? Because you're going to supervise a whole male-dominated group. Then I asked him a question. Do they have what I have as an engineer? Or are they trained electricians? I believe they are trained electricians. So what I have, they don't have. And that's what I'm bringing on the table. In most of the interview rooms, girls understand this. You'll be asked, what are you bringing on the table? You must have one thing that you bring on the table. Now, the project manager wanted to dismiss me. But glory be to God, I won the favor of the company CEO who was a Chinese. How did I get that? They were looking for some specialized motor and they couldn't get it in the market. Na kwa sababu ya kumbuka zile voluntary nilikuwa nafanya. So I stumbled kwa makona za Nairobi, mashimo za vitu. And I knew where they can get that particular motor. So I told the CEO, if you can employ me, this evening I will take you to the place you will get that motor at not more than 300,000 shillings. Then I told him, try me, if I fail, fire me. Sina kitu ya kujiprotect. So we agreed that tukitoka hiyo interview room, napanda Prado ya CEO, na wapeleka kwa hiyo shimo ya kupata motor. Na tukaenda saa 8 tuko Thames. And they got the exact specification. Price 300K. Dorcas doesn't lie. You must get the facts right. Usikawahi danganya mbele ya wadosi. So you must have your facts right. And the guy was surprised. How did you know that the price was going to be more than 300K? How did you know that we will get it right here? And I said, because I am a go-getter, I don't tire except I get results. So I won the favor of the CEO. And to my surprise, I was the only newly employed fellow to be given full salary while on probation. While my counterparts were earning 30,000, I was earning 60K, plus bonus of over 100K. That is what resilience, persistence, commitment can do to you. But if you give up, then you'll never get anything. Thank you.